Hey, welcome to today's Facts Tale. Recently, I received a lot of messages expressing their interest in China's ethnic minorities. They are asking me a lot of questions. And guess what? You'll find the right person. For those of you watching for the first time, and even those who have been watching for a while, I haven't done a proper introduction of myself. My name is Sina. I'm Chinese with an ethnic Mongolian background. Sina is a Mongolian name. Without a surname, it may not look like a regular Chinese name like my Han friends have. Since so many of you are interested in us, ethnic minorities in China, let's start a new series from today, specifically talking about our life. So stay tuned. Now, first thing first, I need to tell about where I live and the system of regional ethnic autonomy. Let me give you some really technical information first. So regional ethnic autonomy is inscribed in the Constitution of the People's Republic of China. Article 4 of the Constitution says, all areas inhabited by ethnic minorities shall practice regional autonomy, establish autonomous organs, and exercise the power to self-govern. Now, I know what you've noticed. When it comes to the word autonomy, people who don't know much about China may get a little bit confused. What does autonomy mean in the system of regional ethnic autonomy? Well, here's a quick answer.
Autonomy means that the local people have the right to decide their own development plan, focus on economic, cultural, religion. That is all under the leadership of the central government.
That's why Article 4 also says that all national autonomous areas are integral parts of the People's Republic of China. Though Han is the majority ethnic group in China, 55 ethnic minority groups accounted for 8.89% of the whole population, with autonomous areas covering 64% of the country. Now let's talk about something specific, China's 5 provincial-level autonomous regions.
In this autonomous region, the main ethnic group are the specific nationalities. That, for example, Tibet Autonomous Region mainly is Tibetan people, but also that there are some other ethnic minorities like Hui, Han, Mongolian, Lopa, and some others.
The 5 provincial-level autonomous regions are Ningxia-Hui Autonomous Region, Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, Tibet Autonomous Region, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, and Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, where I was born and raised. Now let's take a little test. Do you know where they lie respectively on the map of China? Not a fan of geography? Well then, here we go. But this doesn't mean that ethnic minorities are only concentrated in just 5 places. In the areas where ethnic minority groups are concentrated in other provinces, autonomous prefectures and counties are established to better protect their interests. So here comes our next question. What kinds of interests are protected under this system? Well, the law of the People's Republic of China on regional national autonomy is the basic law for the implementation of the system of regional national autonomy prescribed in the Constitution. Through 74 articles, the system of regional ethnic autonomy protects and enhances the interests of ethnic minorities in many ways. First of all, the people of all ethnic groups in the areas have the full right to vote and stand for election. Take Tibet as an example. In 2015, Tibet had over 34,000 deputies to the People's Congresses at all levels. Among them, deputies from the Tibetan and other minority ethnic groups accounted for over 65% of all deputies from Tibet to the National People's Congress, and more than 70% to the People's Congress of Tibet Autonomous Region. And there's more. The people of all ethnic groups in the autonomous ethnic regions fully enjoy the right to manage their regional affairs. According to Article 19 of the Law of the People's Republic of China on regional national autonomy, the People's Congresses there can make regulations on the exercise of autonomy and separate regulations through certain procedures based on their own characteristics. Furthermore, in the last 5 years, the People's Congress of Tibet Autonomous Region and its Standing Committee enacted, ratified, and repealed 72 local regulations on the autonomous region. They also approved 45 local regulations of cities divided into districts. The system of local regulations in Tibet has been continuously improved, covering economic development, culture, education, language, preserving of cultural relics, and environmental protection. And here comes a special one. According to the law, there is also a room for alterations. If a resolution or decision coming from a state organ at a high level does not suit the local conditions, this has enabled these autonomous areas to enact and implement multiple alternative regulations and supplementary provisions on state laws in light of the actual situation. For example, in Tibet, there are the regulation of Tibet Autonomous Region on the protection of cultural relics and the regulations of Tibet Autonomous Region on environmental protection. It also allowed Tibet to establish other public holidays in addition to national holidays, mostly traditional Tibetan festivals such as the Tibetan New Year and the Shoten Festival, and apply 35 weekly working hours, 5 hours less than the national legal level. This makes me want to move to Tibet now. When it comes to money, the law also allowed them to keep all revenue generated locally, and they can decide how to spend the money. In addition, a series of infrastructure construction, scientific and technological development, investment, finance, tax, and other aspects of state support have been implemented. So that's why the economy of the autonomous areas is developing quickly.
In the past several decades, the central government did a lot of work to improve the life in the remote areas, especially those ethnic minority places. For example, I'm from Tibet. In Tibet, the central government issued a lot of policies to support the development of Tibet economic and improving the life of people in Tibet, such as they do not collect any tax from Tibet, and besides that, they allocate a lot of money to support the development of Tibet. They also ask the other provinces to support the construction and the development of Tibet.
The total regional GDP in China's 5 autonomous regions, in Mongolia, Guangxi, Tibet, Ningxian, Xinjiang, and 3 other provinces, was a large multi-ethnic population. Guizhou, Yunnan, and Qinghai increased from 5.1 trillion yuan to 10.4 trillion yuan from 2012 to 2020. Over 30 million people living in areas with large ethnic minority populations were lifted out of poverty, and 420 state-level poverty-stricken counties in areas of ethnic autonomy were lifted out of poverty as well. The system of regional ethnic autonomy also supports foreign trade in these areas. With the approval of the State Council, they can open foreign trade ports, and for those adjoining foreign countries, they can also develop border trade. For example, in my hometown, Inner Mongolia. Inner Mongolia is in North China and borders Mongolia and Russia. Statistics from 2017 show that the region's foreign trade volume has increased from 30 million yuan to over 77 billion yuan since China's reform and opening up started in 1978. And compared to 70 years ago, the region's economy has expanded from over 500 million yuan to 1.86 trillion yuan, ranking first among the country's 5 autonomous regions. In addition to what I have already mentioned, the system of regional ethnic autonomy goes into far more detail, providing all-around support to the institutional, economic, cultural, technological development of these areas. So this is the beginning of our new series about ethnic minorities in China. And what other issues related to China's ethnic minorities do you want me to talk about? Feel free to leave a comment down below or DM me on Twitter. I'm Sina. See you next time.